Valentine's Day is 2 days away, so we're definitely doing a theme around love in our journaling today. And who better to have with us but Femke, who does so much on self-love and self-gentleness, all those beautiful topics that I love. So we have Femke, we have Carly from A Smile from Heaven. We have the two Aussies today. We have Carly and we have Blossom Violet, my twin over there, down
Hello.
under both of them. So I'm very excited. And of course, Carly is going to be doing her creative journaling that I love. Carly's the one who's turned me on to all these other things, including cacao, which I do have a little. Yes.
I'm finishing mine off. It's half cold, but I'm finishing it off. I'd actually started my cacao when we were chatting earlier, and I was like, oh yeah, this is a good meditation.
Yeah,
I'm sidetracked.
I had never tried it until I started watching your cacao ceremonies and decided to try it. I was afraid it was going to be awful, and it's not.
Look, it can be. Honestly, it can
Wow.
be. Yeah.
I'm
I've been
I
to
I
some
asked a lot
ceremonies.
of people for advice before I ordered mine because I wasn't gonna
I've,
drink it if it was awful.
well, I've been to some ceremonies that are really deeply grounded in like the
Dirt.
well, I want to say authenticity of it, but it's not even that. It's just that they keep it as pure as possible. And a girlfriend of mine who does ceremonies, and they're amazing. Um, I could like I drink cacao twice a day, and I don't have any problem with it. But with hers, even I could
Yeah.
chew it so strong. And it's not
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be like that for people who have never had it before because you want it to be
Right.
enjoyable and palatable, so you come back to it.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, if something's gonna taste like dirt, I'm not gonna be drinking it.
Yeah.
I used to force myself to have things because they were healthy, and I don't do that anymore. I'm like, they can be healthy and I could like them, or I'm not having them. End of story.
Yeah.
Joanne says she'd not tried it either. Joanne, have you tried it now, and do you like it? And which brand do you use? Hey, Melanie. Melanie's not on this side of the screen because she's teaching a class, sneaking in while waiting for students. Awesome.
Hey, Susan.
Yeah, Joanne, you have to let me know if you tried one that doesn't taste like dirt. I brought the OHM brand. It was recommended to me by Alejandro, and I love it.
Mm.
Which one do
I
you
get
use,
asked,
Carly?
I use either Cacao Collective or Elevate Wellness.
Elevate Wellness. I think I've heard of that brand. I don't know.
So Elevate Wellness is actually one of the teachers here on Insight Timer. It's hers. So she
Oh,
started, yeah, here in Australia, but she only has it in Australia, obviously. It's too
I'm in the,
expensive to post overseas from here. It's
yeah, I was gonna
ridiculous.
say I'm in the wrong place
Yeah.
then. So we're gonna get started. I'm gonna let everybody introduce themselves because I love to have people introduce themselves. And Femke, I'm gonna start with you.
Yeah, hi, my name is Femke Bakker, and I'm Dutch. I'm in the Netherlands. I'm a self-gentleness teacher here on Insight Timer. I give every second Friday of the month a self-gentleness live, self-gentleness in action. So that's coming Friday. That's at 3:30 Eastern Time. And yeah, I teach self-gentleness, which is radically accepting yourself as the most important person to consistently deserve your own gentleness. And I'm having a lot of fun with it lately. To I've been here on Insight Timer since 2019, and I've been steadily growing, finding people with whom my work is resonating. But it feels like the beginning of this year as if there's more openness. It can flow more easily. So I'm really, really excited with the things that I'm creating and sharing in self-gentleness. And I'm so happy to see you blossom because, we are creating with several Insight Timer teachers beautiful co-creations where we have these Insight Timer teachers who compose music. And then we also, Violet and me and Blossom and Carly, we listen, well, the way I do it, I listen to the music and then I turn it off and then I get my microphone and I just, let it flow what comes out. And then I put it together after some editing. And when I listen back, I think these are the most beautiful things that I ever made. So it's like all the self-gentleness that I want to bring forth. It is inspired to come through a new story because of the music of all these different composers, and I so love it. So I'm so happy to see you blossom. I'm so happy with your music also. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
likewise. Thank you so much for using
Yeah,
my music. Your
I'm a
track was
huge fan.
just amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you for the amazing music.
Oh, you're welcome. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah,
Love to.
I'm a huge fan of Blossom Violet's music. I think every track I've created in the last 20 journaling tracks have only had her music, and I'm trying. I keep saying I'm going to look for music from other composers, and I do every now and then, but then I go back to hers because there's just something
Yeah.
about the way she plays that just it touches me so much. And as much as I love the other composers, and I do, I love musicians. I just there's just something about your music, Blossom. I'm not going to make you cry. I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
I was just about to say that.
I could see the look on your face. I'm like, okay, Violet, stop.
Oh, thank you. I'm very touched. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Oh gosh, my dog is playing with a squeaky toy. I'm going to mute myself.
So should I go next?
Yes, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Blossom Violet. I play piano on Insight Timer. I don't pre-plan what I play. Everything just, the music just flows through me. So I've no idea what I'm going to play. So even I get surprised often because I have no idea what I'm going to play. And as soon as I play, it goes away. So I can't reproduce what I play again. So unless it's recorded, I cannot reproduce it. So it all because I go into present moment, reconnect to my true self or higher self, and that's where the mind, all the mind chatters are still there. I just don't hear them anymore when I'm in that pure consciousness state. So this is how I create the the music. So I hope you enjoy my music.
I think we do. All right. Carly, I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Hello, hello. Welcome back for me. Oh, feels like it's been ages since I've been on here with you. It's been a while. So thank you.
I don't think it's been that long. Maybe it feels that way.
Thank you for having me. My name is Carly. I'm a creative arts therapist. I live in, I would say, sunny Queensland, Australia, except it is bucketing down rain here at the moment. So it's not very sunny, but it is still hot because we're still in summer and it's rainy and hot. It's disgusting. But I love all forms of creativity. I run cacao ceremonies so that we can connect to our inner self for our own healing, our own insight, our own wisdom. And I also love running creative sessions where we do some creative stuff in our cacao ceremony sometimes, but I love the creative sessions where we can just let loose and have fun and play. And that's what I plan on doing today. And I know it's going to be a journaling session. And so I'm taking journaling to a different level for me today, because sometimes for me, journaling isn't about writing. It's just about creating art. And so I'm going to turn my camera over when we get started, and you guys are going to get to see me watch a big mess being made while Violet plays her beautiful music. Blossom plays her beautiful music, because today it's nice and early here and I just felt like making marks on pages. So yeah, I'm excited.
Good. And you can call her Violet. She's entitled to the name too. How funny to have two Violets together.
I know.
When she and I first met on Inside Timer, I said, I have not known. My dog is playing with a squeaky toy. Can everybody hear that? I hope my
Barely.
mic, okay, good. I have a good mic, so I was hoping my mic was canceling his squeak. All I hear is his squeaky toy. But yeah, I said to her, I had not known any other Violets. It was anyway, an unusual name until Jennifer, whatever the actress, and her husband named their daughter Violet, and suddenly Violets were popping up everywhere. But obviously Violet and I were way before that era, so we had the unusual name, and I loved it, and I still love it, and I love that I have another friend named Violet now.
Well, we could stop the confusion by calling you your proper name, by calling you
Violeta.
Violeta. So
you have to say it in Spanish.
For those who don't know, Violet was on a podcast this last week, and I got to sit down and listened to the whole thing. And it was funny because I was chatting with her on Messenger at the same time while I was listening to it in the background. And Jordan come running over, goes, That's Violet speaking? What's Violet
Love
doing
it.
speaking? It
I
was
love
so
it.
cute when he came running over. So yeah, we could call you Violetta, and then
Yes.
so that we don't get confused.
Oh, and Carmen says Violetta is in Romanian too. I love that. Also in Italian. I know that, and it's on my birth certificate spelled that way, the way Carmen just spelled it. And the reason I started using Violet was because people used to call me Viola and it would drive me crazy. I was like, my name is not Viola. So I dropped the A, in English and just went by Violet. And I should also mention, by the way, that I am 100% Puerto Rican, which is why my mom named me Violeta. And it's funny that up until age 5, Spanish was all I ever spoke. That's something that a lot of people don't know about me. It came up in one of our Ask Your Guides is, what's one thing most people don't know about you? And I said, it's probably that up until age 5, I didn't even speak English. And now it's so weird that it's like I hardly ever use my Spanish anymore. It's like I think in English, and I was like, there was a time in my life I thought in Spanish. How did that change? But anyway, so Carly, I wanted to say something about your journaling. That's one of the things I wanted to bring here in the journaling live is that there's so many different ways of journaling. It's not just, writing in your book or your journal or whatever. And that's one of the reasons why I love having you here with us because you show the creative side of journaling that I love. And, everyone's got different styles of journaling. I'm a huge believer in doing what works for you and not what, other people say you should do. So that's why we're here and that's why we're going to journal together. And I love, the perspective that everybody brings, the musicians, Femke with your self gentleness. I just like sharing these different points of view with the people in the Insight Timer community. And I also wanted to ask Femke if you would like to share anything about your feelings towards journaling with the work you do, anything at all. Feel free to throw it out there.
Yeah, I'm just mesmerized by looking at what Carly is showing. It's so beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think journaling, and I really love how you mentioned that it's not just writing, it's basically opening up and letting it flow, letting your intuition, letting your connection with your inner self or your soul or whatever name you want to give it flow. And I think that is the most important part of self-gentleness. Is the core is that you allow yourself to tune in with that inner voice that is actually really quietly whispering, but that knows so well who you are, what you love, what you do not love, what you want, what you desire, what you do not want. But to tune in and to actually hear what is going on, there's a lot of things that are in the way. We have this inner critic, we have expectations we hold of ourselves, or expectations with things that others hold over us. And that might make it really, really hard to make that connection. And I think that so the way I use journaling is a really great way in case I cannot really tune in and listen. There's to just sit down and allow myself to just write up, whatever is there. It can be the thoughts that I'm having, it can be the feelings that I'm having, and to just allow myself to write it up, even in a handwriting that might not even be able to recognize later on. And to just, let it flow like that. But I'm also thinking actually about when I give my lives, that's almost also like tapping. It's a little bit what the other Violet, the Down Under Violet was just explaining when she's making the music. It's, you're sitting there. I know what I'm going to talk about. There are questions of people, and then yeah, it just starts to flow. And when I listen back to it, I sometimes think, wow, I was saying that. I don't even remember that clearly, but that's because it was this like stream of wisdom, of love that is just flowing through me. And in a sense, I think that is what I do mainly in the journaling. So also because before I was preparing to come and sit here, I was thinking I don't journal in writing that much anymore. I used to do that a lot in the times that I was really working my way out of things, and it was really helpful to just let it flow. But I think it's now more like an internal process of finding that connection and really start to listen to what is, whatever this inner voice is telling me over me, what I need in the moment, what I feel in the moment. And yeah, so that's my take on it.
I love that. I love that. And at night in the shower when I'm having all my thoughts, I feel like that's a form of journaling too.
Yeah. Yeah, showers are great. Yeah. I remember that you had the idea for Ask Your Guides in the shower, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
That was the very
I heard
that
that
was
little
very
ask your guides thing in my head and I was like, what's that? Like what am I thinking about kind of a
yeah.
thing?
It's so
Yeah.
beautiful. And look, look what you have built here with Ask Your Guides. It's really, really amazing. So
Yes, been
yeah,
yeah.
being in a shower, that is a really great way to tune in. Sometimes I'm in the shower and I have really whole sentences that I would like to write down, because I start to work on a book on self-gentleness. Um, and then when I get out of the shower, then they're gone. So
Somebody told me to buy shower notes that you can hang in the shower and actually write in the shower. I thought
yeah,
about it, but I was like, I'm not buying another thing. I'm always buying these.
You
I'm
know what I
trying to
use?
declutter.
I just
What do you
use a white. I just use a whiteboard marker. So a whiteboard pen, the pens that you write on a whiteboard. Use
now?
those right on your tiles, and they
yeah.
wash off.
I was going to say, does it wipe off easily? Because my husband would kill me. He made this beautiful tile work.
No, no, no. Just don't do it into the grout because obviously the grout will it'll soak into the grout. But yeah, we use whiteboard markers of different colors and we leave notes for each other in the shower as well.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. I should start doing that. I'll just make sure not to get into his grout because he's picked a very specific color and I don't want to mess it up. But Carly and I were talking right before the live about something that I had read, and I found it, by the way, Carly, it was a quote from Viola Davis, the actress. And I remember where I had read it. It was on Oprah's page or something. But it said Viola Davis tells her daughter, "You are the love of your life. You have to start right now to have a radical love affair with yourself, to be in touch with your inner voice, what you like, what you don't like, what's crossing the boundaries, and you honor that." So after I read that, I was like, God, what a great way of looking at yourself that you are the love of your life. And I was thinking for our journaling prompt today, why not write yourself a letter that way that you are the love of your life? And Blossom is going to play some beautiful music for us so that we can write. And then when we're done, we're going to come back and we're going to chat some more.
Okay, I'm
I
just going to
love that idea. Yes.
I'm going to adjust the volume of
Go
my
right ahead. You do what you
because
need to do.
when I hear you guys talk, I had to turn the volume down on my headphones. So just give me a few seconds. Oh, I do need
Sure.
to turn it up because I can't hear myself. Just a little bit more.
Sounds beautiful already.
Oh, thank you. All right. Shall I mute? I'm going to mute my mic. So
You do whatever works for you.
let me know if you want me to stop because I can go on forever, and I
You
don't
can
want.
go on as long as you want.
All right, everyone. So anytime I can start. Can I?
Please.
All right. Just let me
And
get
for the
ready.
rest of us, we're going to journal, write a letter. Yes,
Enjoy.
Stephanie, I will put that in the chat. You're writing a letter to yourself. You are the love of your life. I want you to write a letter to yourself. Whatever love letter you like. I think sometimes I wish my husband would write me a love letter. He's not the writing type. So why don't I write myself a love letter? I'm the love of my life. And that's a beautiful idea. So I will put that in the chat, Stephanie, and go on, Blossom. You do what you got to do. Amazing.
Thank you so much.
It's so
I-
beautiful, Violet.
oh my goodness.
Thank
And I'm so
you.
glad that this is recorded because you know I'm going to make a track out of that.
Yes, yes, yes. I knew you would. Yeah, that was I was in deep meditation there.
Wow.
And
I could feel it.
but yeah, it's absolutely amazing. When I was playing, I was also looking at Kali's amazing creation over there. I was like get got drawn into that as well. And yeah, I was going to play a bit longer. I thought, let me see if I can sync up with what Kylie is doing and we maybe finish at the same time. But all of a sudden, when I played, it was the end. So I
It
didn't
was
want to control
perfect.
that. So
It was
thank
perfect.
you, everybody.
Perfect.
Thank you, Violet, Blossom. That was beautiful to create along with. And I was watching the comments on the side there, but unfortunately I can't type and art at the same time very, very easily. So I enjoyed being able to create along to it.
Stephanie had asked about that quote from Viola, and I found it and I pasted it, but I just want to read it one more time because it was really like it was really profound. I saw this last week, and ever since then, I've been ending all my journaling with that line, I am the love of my life. So Viola says, what I tell my daughter right now is, Genesis, you are the love of your life. You have to start right now to have a radical love affair with yourself, to be in touch with your inner voice, what you like, what you don't like, what's crossing boundaries, and you honor that. And through that is the seed where everything grows. And then she goes on to say, no one ever told me that. No one ever told me that I was the love of my life. I just counted myself out. If I have to be small in order to build up a relationship, I'll make myself small. If I have to sacrifice my needs for others, that's what I did. I said, Genesis, no, do not do that. You are the love of your life, you and you alone. Like, how beautiful is that? I think we should all think of ourselves that way.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. In essence, I think, how I discovered for myself that I had to be gentle for myself. I've been someone who has been a big part of my life, always taking care of others for all kind of reasons. And at a certain moment, you cannot replenish yourself anymore. And then the pressure on yourself to feel better than you're doing is so big. And for me, already many years ago, it started with learning to meditate. And slowly, slowly in that process to realize that I could connect with that inner voice, that all those other thoughts and sensations and feelings and emotions, they could just be, and I could sit in the middle of it without having to engage with it. And then I was thinking, ooh, how can I do this also outside of meditation? And that was the whole process that in the end, brought me to my self-gentleness. And I think that's in the core what journaling also does, that you become aware of what is going on within you. Because it's really, really sometimes hard to know. We might be cranky or we might be angry or sad, but we do not very often not know why that is so much. Only when you start to tune in, you realize that there is something. And sometimes you don't even know what reason it is, just to be with yourself and then to find your way back to feel a little bit better. And yeah. I really, really love that quote. And I think all of us parents should teach our children that, but sometimes we don't know it so well.
Yes.
So yeah. Yeah. So when I was listening to the music of it was really so amazing. Again, it's so touching. It's speaking to the soul immediately. And that's really, really beautiful. So then with your prompt in my head, I wrote something. Shall I read that?
Please.
Okay, one moment.
Anytime I write anything to myself this deep, like this letter was, I can't even read it because I'll start crying and nobody will understand me.
It is me. Well, I don't want to call it a real poem. I do write poetry, but I don't know if it's of that level today. But actually, these are some prompts that I think are related to that question. So let me just, okay. It's always vulnerable when you write something up and then you start to read it. So I'll not beat around the bush. Okay, here it comes. What if I look in the mirror and I see the most beautiful eyes ever? What if I caress my own skin and realize it's me who is so soft? What if I hold myself whenever I mess up and still whisper, it's okay, my love? What if I am my own best friend, always showing up in good times and bad ones, just for me? What if I am the love of my life, loving life, loving you and you and you and loving me, being love, being me?
That is so beautiful. I hope you make that into a track. As you started to read it, I mean, you hadn't even gotten through the first sentence, and I was like, I'm going to cry just listening. It's so beautiful.
Thank
Love
you so
it.
much. I have a little frog in my throat now.
I love it
No.
so much. So beautiful. Thank you.
That's your music who gave it to me. We were we were channeling this together, I think. Thank you
Yes,
so
yes, yes.
much. Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
That's a good idea, Violet, that I could make a track from it. And I
Yes,
will, and
please.
with Violet's music, right? That would be the accent
Yes.
part. Yeah,
Please, please.
let's
Yes,
do that.
yes.
Okay, good, cool.
Absolutely.
I said to Jordan, I'm about to go off mute. And he goes, and I'm about to sneeze. So apologies. I had like messy hands, but I wanted to say, Femke, that was beautiful listening to that while I was. And it's funny because as you started reading your thing, I was drawn to using this stamp that's got words all over it that I don't know what it is. So I visioned this stamp in Dutch being your words on the page here. So, because I
That's so
don't, that's,
beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah, really. Thank you.
Love that. You know, anytime you hear anything in another language, it sounds amazing. I wanted to point out that Femke did a track with Tom Evans, which I've done in Spanish and she's done in Dutch.
Yeah.
And it was my first time listening to something in a different language. And I was like, wow, now I get it. When people tell me they have no idea what I'm saying in Spanish, but it just sounds great. I felt the same way listening to you. I was like, wow.
Yeah, thank you. It was really fun because I
Yes.
didn't record Dutch tracks for a very long time because I do almost everything in English. And then with Tom together, I'm going to do another one soon, one of his meditails. I'm translating it in
Yes.
Dutch and we'll do, but I really loved it, but especially the one where so I have on my track list on Inside Timer just the Dutch version, but Tom has on his track list the Dutch English Dutch version. And when I listen to it, it's almost like magic how those
Right.
voices, it's amazing. Yeah. It's the same with you with the Spanish indeed. It's really something, yeah. It's a really
Yeah.
great idea from Tom.
I've done 3 with him. He did ask me about the Meditails, and I was like, "Oh gosh, is that gonna be long?" But I'm gonna do it. I just have to sit down and do it. But what I loved about that, what I told him, I felt the same way you did when I listened to it with his English and my Spanish. It was magical to
Mm.
hear. And what was amazing for me was I have not used my Spanish in a long time. And actually, for many years, like my mom speaks to me in Spanish, I respond to her in English. And for many years around my family in general, I wouldn't speak Spanish because my brother used to pick on me if I didn't pronounce things correctly. And I became very, like
Yeah.
embarrassed. And my
Yeah.
dad, my dad and my brother had the same sense of humor, always, making everybody else the butt of their jokes. And because I was so shy already, it made me not want to use it because I was embarrassed. And I said to Tom when he asked me to do this and I did it, I said, you know what? You reawakened in me that love that I had for a language that I spoke exclusively for 5 years of my life, the first 5 years of my life.
Yeah.
So it's been magical. And besides the fact it's good practice for me, I love doing them. So I totally get it. Hey, Alejandro, my friend, speaking of my fellow Puerto Rican over there. Not that we were speaking of you, but talking about Spanish. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
a lot of teachers here. Please identify yourselves in the chat. CG, Alejandro, who was I just talking to? Caitlin, Nicole. There's a ton in the chat. Please put in there that you are a teacher. Go on, Femke. I'm sorry I cut you off.
no, that's okay. Yeah, what I don't know if that was also for you like that. So first you had to translate the text so for me in my native language in Dutch. But then I also realized when I was recording it that these were not my own words, right? Which is in a sense, okay, I used to be an actor once, so I was always speaking other people's words, but for meditations, it's always my own words that basically I very often do not even write them down. They just come like that. And that is also something magical because Tom's words are very magical, right? It's that is the nature of everything that he does. There is such a magic in there. But I actually felt that when I was speaking those words. It was really amazing experience. Yeah.
I was just putting in the chat for anybody who wants to hear those tracks that they're under Tom Evans' profile. Yeah, he is definitely, I mean, the stuff that he writes is amazing. I don't create meditations, so being able to translate it and read it for me was a lot of fun. It was really, I loved it. So I told him if I can get through all of his tracks, especially that Just for Today series, those have been my favorites for years. So I'm like, if I could translate all of them and do them all, eventually I will. It may take me a while, but I love them so much.
I'm almost called to getting Femke to translate the cacao poem that you translated for me to
Yes, I
finish.
love that cacao poem. Please do. Caitlin, by the way, thank you. Caitlin just said, don't downplay your journaling tracks. Thank you. I do create journaling tracks. And Caitlin, thank you for calling me out on that because talk about playing small. That's been like the theme of my life. And it's something I've been trying to break out of. And last week, I got to be interviewed for a podcast by a friend of mine who's a local radio personality. And normally, when people say, "Oh, can I interview for your podcast?" I'm like, "No, I don't really have anything to say." But of course, she's a friend, and we were out to lunch over margaritas, and I said yes immediately. And it turned out to be a fabulous experience. And I love talking with her because she's an introvert who made a career in radio, which when I first met her, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, how does an introvert go public like that? So she was a huge influence in my life because when she told me how much of an introvert she really is, I was like, wow, if you could do this, maybe I can go on Insight Timer and do this because I wasn't sure that I could. So, yes, Caitlin, thank you, because that was one of the things that I talk about often is, how I spent so much time playing small or, you dim your light so that others can shine and you just kind of hang out in the background. And as an introvert and a quote unquote shy person, because I am no longer shy. I don't call myself shy. I'm working on breaking out of that shell and using my voice more. And it's been life-changing. So I
You
love
have
that.
also really warm, pleasant voice to listen to, Violet.
Thank you.
It's really, really, really nice. Yeah.
Thank you. And I used to say that I hated my voice. And now, because, I've heard those beautiful comments from people like you, I'm like, all right, stop being so hard on yourself.
Yeah. 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 And the most important thing is also to realize it's your voice. And just because of that, it is beautiful,
Aw,
right?
thank you. Thank you. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
My twin over there, you look like you had something to say. Spit it out. No? I thought you were going to say something.
Me?
A Blossom Violet.
Me, I'm just admiring what Carly's doing. Just,
Oh,
just when I thought it's beautiful, she couldn't do anymore, and she added more magic. It's
yes.
just absolutely beautiful. It's complex, and yes, yet they all blend in together. The colors, the texture, and everything.
Yes.
Carly, I
I,
was
I,
admiring your tattoos. You have to put your arms out in a minute to let us see. Oh wow, that is
oh
so
gosh,
beautiful.
somebody did a photo shoot
Oh
with
wow,
Carly and her husband, and they
amazing.
showed a lot of her tattoos. They're amazing. I mean, the artwork that she does is amazing. The artwork she has is amazing. I love it. I see Madeline
Oh,
says she's been playing with the idea of becoming a teacher and creating tracks in Swedish. I love that. And Caitlin and Alejandro both said that they hated their voice. And yes, right? Healing is beautiful, Alejandro. I agree. Carly, go on. I cut you off. I was reading, I was multitasking.
no, thank you, Blossom. Like this to me is my form of journaling. And I don't know if for those who were here at the beginning, there was a totally different picture on this page, and it was a picture that I was drawing or painting at a workshop that I went to on the weekend. And it's not really my style, but I went along with what they asked us to do in the workshop, and then I decided to paint over it to really embody who I truly am based on that event. And so I just wrote a few words, and this is the thing that I love about art journaling is we can write words underneath and get out what we want to say and then cover it up so that nobody else can see it, but it's still there because it's a part of who we are. And this form of art journaling is called mixed media, and it's about layering it up and realizing that just like us, we are made up of many different layers, and we can come together in different colors. We have the dark, we have light sides, we have bright, we have pale, and the way in which I do it, you know, with stencils and stamps, and you don't have to be able to draw a portrait or a landscape to be able to create beautiful art. There's different ways of doing art. And I always try to incorporate a picture into it as well at the end. And I come across these really cool, fun tarot images that somebody else has created. And I couldn't decide which one to do. So at the moment, for those who don't know, I'm actually off my meds. I'm 2 weeks off my medication. And so poor Jordan often thinks that I'm a crazy person, sometimes off my medication. So when I saw this picture, I was like, maybe that could be the picture I use. But then there was also this one, because sometimes that's just how life is. There's not enough sage for it. But I printed out a
Girl,
couple.
that's what in the US, let me tell you.
Yeah, I printed out a couple more. And Violet, there was one that I'm going to send you. It's called The Introvert.
Awesome.
There's also one that's for Violet that was The Cool Grandma. And I was like,
love
those
it.
two, I think the other one that I saw for Violet this morning was The Boss. And they were really cool. But, you know, you can see you don't have to be able to draw or create this type of picture yourself or any type of beautiful picture. Print them out, cut them out, and add them into your own artwork. And so that way you can transform your art into another level. So I can't decide which one, but I'm actually thinking these are all too colorful. I'm actually thinking I'm going to cut out this black and white one and add it on here because for me, the love that we, you know, when Violet said we write a love letter to ourselves, to me, it's all stems from our self-love and our own mindset. And on my very messy table, I've lost my scissors. Here we go. So I was thinking maybe a black and white picture so that it sort of stands out from the background. But
And I
yeah,
love what you said about the art. You know, you could put these words underneath it and it's you, you know, and you're talking about
Yeah.
layers. And I think about how, you know, a lot of us here on Insight Timer, what are we doing? We're peeling back those layers. And I love that. I love that kind of
Yeah.
growth. And as Alejandro pointed out, that type of healing, I love it.
I would have liked this to be bigger. Maybe I could reprint it bigger after I get
Yeah,
off. But
if I
you're
can
right.
add to that, sorry. Oh, yeah. No, go ahead.
No,
Go
you're
ahead.
right. Go.
No, and what I would add to that is what I also loved about it, that you always have the right also to still not expose everything to everyone. You know, you can listen to your inner voice and connect to that and know what is the truth and your wants and desires. But it does not necessarily mean that you immediately have to communicate it to everybody, because that might be way too scary and might take some time. And maybe to some people you will never do that because it's easier and self-gentler to just, you know, keep your distance at yourself. So I also love that as an empowerment, because sometimes we might think, oh, now we connect with ourselves and it has to be all out in the open. Let's be vulnerable.
Yeah.
But that's, you know, you have to know when you can be vulnerable. and always towards yourself and in a safe environment to make that
Yes.
connection. But you're also allowed to, keep it to yourself as long as you have that connection. So that's what I got out of what Carly just told
Yes.
us.
I love that you added that about feeling safe because that's been a huge thing for me too. You know, I don't share things with people if I don't feel safe. Obviously, here on Inside Timer, I say it all the time, I found my tribe. And the things that I share here, I do feel safe sharing. But it took me a long time to get there too.
Yeah. Carly, tell us more because you want to say something when I interrupted you.
Yes.
I was on mute. I was just quickly printing out this picture a bit bigger. So
Look at those
because
beautiful nails
I
too.
feel like it needs to be really highlighted, but now that's too big.
Oh, I think it looks good. Mental health matters. I love it.
It's a bit big. I'll print out a medium-sized one. Well, I don't think I had anything else to add because I could just ramble on forever. But
I do love all the purple you use, by the way.
yeah, I did that for you, Violet.
Oh, thank
There's
you.
actually a violet that I didn't end up using, so I need to add some violet. I did use some purple, but I don't think I used this violet specifically. So let's just put some violet on here for Violet and for Blossom Violet.
Yes, I was just going to say that. Don't forget about me.
Yeah. Never. How could we ever forget about you?
And 20, remember last year when we tried to do this together with your piano music and it didn't work? Look how it's working now. Your music.
Yay.
Remember us being on,
I absolutely
we
did.
were
I
on Zoom
tried
for like an hour and we couldn't get it. We couldn't figure it out. And today you came in and you turned it on and it was like, wow, amazing.
just like magic.
Yes.
There'll
I'm
be
so
more of us
excited.
to come. Yeah.
I got Jordan to quickly run upstairs and find something, which is always fun when you ask a dude to find something that you've stored somewhere safely.
Thank you for all the love in the chat, by the way. Matt, I love what Madeline said, that she had that excited feeling as I read her words. I remember being on the other side of the screen and feeling that way because it's so nice to be heard. And that's a big deal for me. Like I want people to know that they're being heard because I know how that feels. And thank you, Carmen. Thank you for all the love. I love all the love in the chat. So beautiful.
Underneath every single one of these pages is either an affirmation or a poem or a quote or just some emotions that I needed to get out. And then I've done exactly what I did today, which was layer it up with different colors. Or this particular one was all about feeling like I couldn't find color that day. And the quote that I added to this page was creativity takes courage, and especially in black and white, because my camera keeps moving on me, sorry. Creativity doesn't always have to be bright. Sometimes we aren't feeling the color and it's okay. It's okay to take something black and white and then the very next day is like lots of color. So for me, from a creative arts therapy point of view, I want everybody to know you don't have to be able to draw. You don't have to be able to, like I did draw these ones. These ones took a while, but
Beautiful.
you can find pictures. Oh, I did draw that one. You can find pictures that you love the look of.
Did I bring the wrong ones?
No, that's all right. I can just use these ones.
Hello, Jordan, the voice in the background.
Yeah.
Hello.
You can find pictures that you are really called to and then add a quote to it or add an emotion to it and
Love
use
that.
the colors that you are feeling as your emotion. And so this one here, and I always like to find, Jordan calls them my little serial killer words. Find words that I've cut out from magazines that are chopped and changed together. So this one was like, what's inside your heart? And I remember what I wrote underneath this was all about dealing with an emotion that was really stuck at that time. And it's okay to feel that and push through and express yourself in different ways. So not half of this isn't like my own drawing. The backgrounds are, and it doesn't mean that I'm not an artist. And this took me a long time to realize.
I think that you are an artist, by the way.
Yeah, and I agree now. But if you'd asked me a couple of years ago, I would have said no, I'm not an artist. I just play and just create. But you know what? I can say now I am an artist. I'm just a not just, I am a different artist. I'm a mixed media artist. I can take a picture that I like and turn it into something different. You know, obviously copyright laws, you know, I wouldn't be able to sell this sort of stuff, but that's not what it's about for me. To me, creating this type of art is about working through emotions and playing and giving myself permission to express who I want to be on the page. And
Did
so
you
this
do
one
that
here,
too?
yeah.
The,
So this
the,
is, I didn't paint this picture.
I mean,
This is
come on, that is amazing. How could you have thought you were not an artist? Remember the time that you reprimanded me for saying I was
Yeah.
just whatever? I'm reprimanding you now.
I think they're up there anyway.
Ah.
So this one, like, I find amazing pictures from magazines and then work out, okay, party of one,
Beautiful.
embrace self-love. Like, to me, that is the epitome of why I do what I do, you know, because that love starts from within. And utilizing different stencils, different stamps, different colors, different medias, you can create these amazing pieces. This one here was one of my absolute favorite ones. And the quote says, "Listen has the same letters as silent." And I think that's a really profound thing to remember, not just for other people, but for ourselves.
Wow, yes.
That we can, in our own silence, find the answers that we need at the time. So yeah.
Amazing.
So I made Jordan run upstairs, and what I wanted to show was actually right beside where he was sitting. Sorry, Jordan. So I've got like a
Oh,
multitude.
Bethany just said, and I agree 200%, make
Yeah,
that
it's in
oracle
the
deck,
process.
Carly.
I'm actually
Please.
in the process of making two, believe it or not. I'm in the process of making one for myself, and I'm actually collabing with Colin, the yoga teacher here on Insight Timer. And we
Oh,
do
awesome.
as well. So my girl crush from Costa Rica.
I know who she
I
is.
got
I
to
remember you
meet her.
telling
You should
me.
have seen. It
Are
was
you
so funny
going to
when I.
Costa Rica? Are you?
I wish. But
Aw.
the day that I met her on Zoom, you should have seen me. Oh my goodness. I was like gushing like a goddamn teenage schoolgirl. Like, it
Oh,
was
I'm going to have to invite her to a
hilarious.
live with you then.
Yeah, it was hilarious. But yeah, so underneath each one of these is words that have touched my heart. There are, you know, sometimes it was a song that I've heard that really like resonated with me, so I wrote the lyrics out. And each piece, I remember every single thing that I've created underneath here. So
Wow.
yeah, these are beautiful art pages, but you don't have to be able to draw. This is what I'm trying to say. You don't have to be able to draw to create these beautiful things. Find pictures, cut them out. Find words, cut them out. And then just give yourself permission to play, which is all I did today. Was I just played in the background and just created all these. Like, that one was very busy because there was a lot going on in my head that day. Sometimes there's a lot, sometimes there's little. Oh, that was my first this was my very first face I ever drew,
Really?
and I hated it, so I
Oh,
covered
I
it up.
love it.
But it's funny because that photo shoot that I did recently that you were referring to before, this
Yeah.
picture is actually in the background of that photo shoot. I'll show you.
I love those pictures. They're so beautiful.
Well, how it came out, even though the picture itself, there it is there. I don't know if you can see it,
Yes.
but there's this picture here in the background of the photo shoot. And obviously this was mine as well. But it took me a long time to embrace. So the actual photo shoot was a guy highlighting women with tattoos. And yeah, it was an amazing opportunity.
Did
for
you
me
frame any of the other pictures that you could share? Because I love those pictures.
to,
Do you have any of them laying around anywhere?
move my camera. Bill, there's this one. Let me know if I'm upside down yet. Have I gone
Yes,
upside
you're
down?
upside down.
I don't know why my camera
I don't
does
know
that.
why it does that. Oh gosh, that's such a pretty picture too. I love that. Oh my gosh, that's one of my favorites. That one right
Yeah.
there.
So that one's on
Love
the
it.
wall. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
The others are all like, oh, hang on, there's one. Yeah. Walking through my messy house here.
It does not look messy. Oh, I love that one too. That one's spectacular. I remember when you showed me these and I was like, I mean, amazing, all of them.
They're my favorite ones out of all of the ones that the guy took. So let me just flip my camera over so that I don't have to.
So you don't have to turn upside down.
So I don't have to turn upside down. So now you can see me again.
There you are.
But yeah, like I don't know, like creating for me is like oxygen, and I just wish people would give themselves, if I had one thing to say, I would be to give themselves permission to be crap at it. Because
I'm
that's
giving
how we all
myself permission.
give yourself permission, because I can guarantee you, maybe not right away, but you'll get better. Like I've been learning to play the flute this week that I got for Valentine's Day, and I'm giving myself
Nice.
permission to be crap at it. Blossom Violet probably was crap at playing the piano 30 years ago, you know, or maybe she wasn't.
I don't think she was ever
She's probably
crap.
always been fantastic. But
You're right.
you know, and it's the same with self-love. You know, give yourself permission to be crap at it first, because then when you consistently do the work and show up for yourself, we can improve on that skill. And our own self-love is a skill, no different to art. It's just we show up and we do it anyway.
So did you get a Native American flute? I have to ask. Is it a Native American?
I got two.
I have one. So let's learn how to
it's
play, and then we'll start.
We went to buy one, and because we went directly to the guy who makes them, we got them like half the price. So we ended up with two.
Wow. I just thought they were so beautiful the first time I saw them. I had to buy one, and I cannot play. Every now and then I blow into it just for fun. But I'm like, yeah, it would be nice to learn how to play this.
I sent somebody, one of the, I don't know if Mariah's on, I don't know if I sent it to Bethany, but I sent it to Michelle. And so I was sitting outside, and I gave myself permission to sit there for an hour practicing, the poor neighbors, but really it was just an impromptu sound healing for them. And after
I don't have to worry about neighbors, fortunately, just the dog.
After an hour, I realized, you know what? This sounds so much better than it did an hour ago. You know, and I can now play about 30 seconds to a minute and a half of consistent sound by practicing for 2 or 3 days. So
wow.
Show you.
So Blossom Violet, you have to tell us, were you ever crap? Did you ever think you were crap on this?
Well, I was too young to remember.
Yeah.
I started piano when I was 4 years old.
Wow. So you were born playing the piano. I'm sorry. You were never crap.
Well, my mom, well, my music piano teacher made me go through all the exams. So you know, when you get the grades back, you thought, well, I was crap. But I mean, I no longer think that. I mean, exams are, you know.
Yeah. I don't believe in exams and grades.
No,
I don't like numbers.
I went through
look how
every
beautiful.
I love those flutes, Carly. I've got one too, not like that, shorter.
Yeah.
We're gonna start a flute band.
Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't play it left-handed.
No, go ahead, go ahead. Oh, left-handed, yeah. Your mic is suppressing it. There's noise suppression happening somewhere. I'm sorry.
Oh, you couldn't hear it. I will. Then it sounded beautiful for everybody.
In my mind, it was amazing.
So yeah, so I just think people need to give themselves permission to play. You don't have to turn it into a business. You don't have, there's Jordan walking around the background. You don't have to.
Hey, he's dressed. It's okay.
Yeah.
What?
You're dressed at least. You don't have to turn it into a business. You don't have to make art that goes on a wall. Nobody ever has to see what you've written or played or done. It can literally, any type of creative outlet can literally just be for yourself.
I feel that way about Insight Timer. You know, it's my creative outlet, and I don't make money doing it. I mean, I have, you know, my full-time job. I do it because I love it. And I think the more you love it, the more you enjoy it.
But it's an energy exchange too. Like I listen, you could be the world's greatest player of something, and I'll feel the energy that you're sending through, not the sound, if that makes sense. So the vibration.
Yes.
And I tried to explain that to Carly. Now she understands it. I'm It's the same as when I talk to somebody, I'm not listening to their words, I'm watching their vibration.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's what I love about doing these collaborations is the energy that I feel from it. So I agree completely.
Because you have, like, people forget we have free will. It's just that in human form, we've been given so many rules and laws, and you can't do that unless you're trained, and you can't do this, and you can't. Why
Right?
not? Why can't you do it?
Yes.
I'm here to ask why. Like, you know, they have certain traditions on certain things. I understand that, but like, you know, I've been listening through, and that's what we've forgotten. We're here to evolve ourselves
Yes.
and heal ourselves and grow and love ourselves, because nobody's going to love you like yourself. But we're not
So
taught
true.
that, as you were saying earlier.
Mm.
We're taught to
Byron
please
Katie, who's
everyone
another
else.
one of my favorite authors, has a quote. She says, "Who were you before the world told you who you should be?" And that's
Exactly.
something I love it. So profound. I love it.
An exercise I do with a lot of my one-on-one clients. So I do part of my creative arts therapy is where I actually do talk therapy and counseling. And an exercise I do with almost every one of my brand new clients is I get them to write a list of all the things they love. And I give them like 30 seconds, just start writing a list of all the things they love. And at the end, I go, so how long did it take until you wrote down your own name? And not one of them has ever written down their own name on that list. And because I did the same thing years ago when I first started with my life coach, I wrote a list of 50 things. No, I wasn't even on that list. I could write a list right now. If someone had said that to me right now, write a list of all the things you love, I would be on the top of that list. That's the first thing I write down. It's taken a long time to get there.
Yes. I
But
get
You
that.
feel guilty when you put yourself first.
I don't.
Right?
No, but
No,
people that
but
just
yeah.
haven't learned that it's okay.
Yeah,
I used to feel guilty. I don't anymore. I tell my
Yeah,
husband
exactly.
that all
That's
the
the key.
time.
I used to feel guilty, and that's the key. Yeah. I reprinted the picture so you could see.
Oh, good. Yeah, I was
what
trying
it,
to explain that to my husband one day because he's like, "Oh, but being selfish." And I said to him, "Stop with the being selfish. Taking care of yourself is not, I mean, yes, okay, it's being selfish, but that's a good thing."
move these out of the way.
What's the alternative? Giving every part of you away until there's nothing left.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. All right. So where should I put it now? On this side or this side? What do you reckon, Violet?
Well, you know what I always say about it as Violet,
The
when
other
people
side. The
say that
first,
you're
no,
still
there.
selfish. Sorry?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry, Femke. What did you say?
Well, yeah, I think I spent quite some lives on that topic, is self-gentleness being selfish. And the eye opener for me is the insight that when someone else asks you to go over your own boundaries, to deplete yourself, to not take care of yourself, to take care for them, because otherwise you are selfish, it means that they are selfish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing
And
for me
and
too is that it
that is an
felt,
important thing to understand for
yeah,
yourself, that
yeah.
and the beauty is the more you take care of yourself and the better you can be there for others, because you know what your boundaries are, and then you can flow towards others. But it always has to start with you. And yeah, that might be selfish, but in that case, it's not a wrong word. But I
It's not
don't
a
like that
bad
word
thing.
because we have connotations on the word
Right.
selfish. That's, self-gentleness. That's
It's
Right.
funny you said that, because at this workshop that I went to on the weekend, somebody said the same thing. Oh, I feel like it's selfish. Someone told me once that it was selfish. And I'm like, you know what? I've changed it now. Same with like the number 13 that people think is unlucky.
Mhm.
It's not
Oh,
to me.
Friday's my 13th anniversary now that you mentioned that.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's only selfish if you believe that the word selfish is a bad thing.
Yeah.
And
I
I don't
agree.
think it is. I
It
don't think
goes
the
for
word selfish is a bad thing.
In essence, all words are neutral until
Yeah.
we give it a
Yeah.
meaning.
That's right. That's right. That's why I keep telling my
Yeah.
husband to stop thinking that selfish is a bad thing. I tell him all the time. He's getting better. I'm rubbing off
Many
on him.
years ago, we went and saw James and Bragg when he was over here on stage. And the first thing he did when he walked out on stage was swear his head off. And everybody gasped. I just sat there. And he said exactly the same thing. They're just words.
Yeah.
Until you put the intent or the energy behind them, they're just words. He said, why do we take words and turn them into a negative or a positive? Like, I know there is negative and positive words, but yeah, it was just his way to shock the audience into using their brain to think, because we're so trained to think that's in the negative basket because he said the swear word. It was like he could have quite easily turned people off of him, but I found, yeah, it was a strange thing. I wasn't expecting him to do it, but it's going back to words are just words. And if you allow them to affect you, then they have control over you. And that's how people emotionally manipulate as well.
True. Carly, by the way, we're seeing your artwork upside down.
Oh, are you? Sorry.
It's okay.
I love how my camera just decides to do its own thing halfway through a live.
My camera does that too. Mine zooms me in and out.
Is it better?
Yes. Beautiful. I know I was gonna say we're getting close to the hour. We went over the hour and I don't want to keep you too long. So I wanted to close by letting you all tell everyone what you've got coming up, your lives, your tracks, whatever you're doing. Now's your chance. So Femke, I'm going to start with you.
All right. So, sorry. Coming Friday, 3:30 Eastern Time, 9:30 my time, Amsterdam time. I'm going live with Self-Gentleness in Action. It's going to be the 14th of February. And so the topic is love is all around. But it doesn't mean that we do that just because for Valentine's Day, because if you believe it's the most beautiful day of the year, or that you think it's just a commercial a word that I don't want to say, or that you don't have any idea about it. Love is all around and every day, and that is something that you can connect to. So that we will do on Friday in my Self-Gentleness in Action live.
I love that.
And thank you
Yeah.
so much for inviting me today. I really enjoyed it.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming. I was thrilled when you said yes.
Of course.
And my twin Violet.
Just want to say happy anniversary, Violet, before I
Oh,
forget.
thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome. I will be resuming my life sometime next week. I'm yet to schedule. And also I have a track with Australian bird calls, which I use
It's
as a
beautiful.
background to my music. Thank you, thank you. Which I use as a background to my improvisation. It was a piece of music which I did during one of my lives. I think it was the 31st of January, and it's up now. And I hope everyone will get a chance to listen to that. It will be a first of a series of nature sound background music track, piano track. So I've been wanting to do that for a long time, and I finally did that. And yeah, it's just amazing. You know, when you had something in your mind you wanted to do, and at the time you were not ready, and or for me, technology wise, I just didn't know how to do it, and I did it. So it's just an accomplishment. And the last thing I want to say is what was I going to say? Good question. Oh, your today is a World Sound Healing Day, so on the 14th. So yeah, I didn't even know that existed. So
yeah, that's right. Melanie is doing a
Sound
sound
Healing
healing session on that day. Yes.
yeah, yeah. And thank you so much again, Violet, Twinnie, and thank you,
Thank
Femke
you.
and Carly. What an honor to be able to do this together. And
Yes. Hey, listen, maybe we can do the musicians now. Okay, we're getting closer.
Yay. That would be great. That would be great. Yeah.
Right? Wouldn't
Maybe
that be
before
awesome? Bunch of musicians playing music.
that would be amazing. Yeah, I think the time change is coming, global time change. So it will be tricky to schedule.
It's
Maybe,
always tricky.
yeah, very tricky.
I
If I
know,
have
but
to get up early in the morning, I will.
I'm glad you said that because I will not.
That means I have to go to bed early the night
I
before,
know.
which will be
No, I'm more likely to be on at 3 a.m. than I would be to get up early.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Oh, thank you. And Carly, share.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for letting me make a big mess and show you the process of how I get it all out on a page. Before we went live, I was chatting with Violet and she said, "Oh, I need to find this deck of cards that have love in it." And as I went upstairs to grab something just before I come onto the Zoom, I walked past all my cards and the Love Your Goddess cards were sitting there.
Oh my God, that's a beautiful deck. I've never even
So
seen it.
I quickly pulled one out and it actually says, it's card number 9, which says rock star. And it says, I am a million different things at a million different times. I am me with no apologies.
I love that so much. Please take a picture and send it to me later.
Yeah, I will. And like, that's what this page represents. The million different things that I put onto that page. You know, we can be put together one day and we can be a hot mess the next day. But as long as we're showing up for ourselves and trying each and every day to remind ourselves that we can be a million different things, because we are all rock stars. So, and thank you, Blossom Violet, for the beautiful music in the background while I was creating. Thank you for those beautiful words in your poem. I'm still going to call it a poem, Femke, because I think every words that are put together like that are poems. And thank you, Violet, for having me again. I'm next on Sunday night. I've got a kick out. That's Queensland time. And then next week I'm back. We've got colouring in. So Susan, who you saw in the chat earlier, I'll be on with her. She'll be on side by side with me. We're going to be colouring in her personal colouring in book together live. And then on Tuesday, I'm doing a sourdough cooking session.
I know. Look at you with your creative witch back in the kitchen. I love it.
I know. So excited.
I'm loving it.
Yeah, he's loving it, I think, more than anybody. So thank you very much.
I want that sourdough bread though. It's like my favorite thing in the world.
Oh, it's so good. You should try this.
I might have to try and bake one, but I don't know if I'm there yet.
One day. You'll be there one day. So yeah, thank you very. Oh, hang on, John.
No, I just want to say happy anniversary.
Oh yeah, happy anniversary.
And
Violet.
also,
happy anniversary.
Everybody's on here. I think Violet should organise to shift the energy. I know America's, I don't want to go into it, but they actually did a trial near Washington or whatever and got hundreds of people to stand in a park and meditate, and it shifted the energy. So if we could all, look, even in different time zones, I know it'd be very hard to work it out.
So listen, I love that you said that because I think, I know you're clairvoyant. John Steen sent me a message last night that he had an idea for just what you said, to shift this energy. And could we collaborate? And I said, absolutely, yes. And Tuesday, I've already scheduled it. We have something that's going to kick off this whole initiative that he has come up with. That is exactly what you just said. So how you said that and he just messaged me is amazing.
Insane.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Violet. Honestly,
thank you, Violet.
You showing up for all of us is like the most amazing part of this.
Thank you. I love that. I love being here with you. I love the energy. I love the connections. I feed off of that. So I appreciate all of you. All right. Oh, and Carmen, you're very welcome. Oh, yes. Thank you. I will make sure I pass those anniversary wishes along to my husband, because oftentimes when I'm doing these things on Insight Timer, I make him sit in the living room quietly so that we have, this nice peaceful time. And he's a good guy, very cooperative. Second marriage, last marriage, all good. All right, my friends, we are going to say goodbye. Yeah, Carly and Jordan, absolutely. There's another favorite couple. Oh, and yes, the reason I picked Valentine's Day, I meant to mention, was because I figured he could never forget our anniversary if we got married on Valentine's Day. I gave him an easy day to remember.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I did the same thing. So the day that Jordan and I officially became a couple, we got married on that exact day. Actually, we got engaged on that exact day 9 years later, then married 10 years later on the exact day. And he still managed to forget it because he did it the day before. And I'm like, it's not the day before. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. So it technically is this day.
Technically.
That is so funny.
When me and Carly got together, I could never remember her phone number, ever. And about 2 years in, she's spelling it out to me.
It
and
was
she
my
goes,
birthday.
Oh,
6,
wow.
11, like take the 04, and I went, oh my God, it is too. But I'm
That's funny.
dyslexic. Come on.
That is so funny. All right, my friends,
Oh,
I'm going to let everybody go. I know I kept you way over an hour. Thank you so much. And we
thank you
will
so
see you
much.
all again soon.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.